One of Oxford's most historic homes was saved yesterday after a fire broke out in the attic.
Dry and hot today across East Alabama, but the intense heat begins tomorrow. We'll have the complete forecast details coming up.
We catch up with the new head baseball coach of the Jacksonville State Gamecocks, Steve Beezer, coming up in sports. EAN Local News starts now.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by WM Grocery, located in Heflin, Wedowee, Roanoke, and in Piedmont.
Good evening and thank you for watching East Alabama Now Local News for Wednesday, June 28, 2023. I'm Katie Edwards.
And I'm Mike Stedham.
Oxford firefighters were called to one of the oldest homes in the city shortly before noon Tuesday to battle a fire that apparently started in the attic. When they arrived at the home on Gray Street, firefighters found heavy fire and smoke coming from the attic. Those firefighters gained access to the attic and were able to extinguish the fire fairly quickly. Oxford Fire Chief Gary Sparks says the home suffered fire, heat, smoke, and water damage. The house was built around 1846 and is listed on the Alabama Register of Landmarks and Heritage.
When Wright Drugs opened its doors for the first time in Heflin, Theodore Roosevelt was President of the United States. Airplanes hadn't been invented yet, and the Model T Ford was still about 6 years in the future. Now, 121 years later, Cleburne County's first pharmacy is closing. Gary Wright, the grandson of the business's founder, says Wright Drugs has been a big part of Heflin's history since 1902.
Then we had several enlargements. My grandfather did a lot of that before I came along. And we had a transfer truck that drove into the front door in 1954, and that caused one remodeling. And in 1985, we remodeled again, enlarged it, and made it wide, made it wider. So, been very pleased with our customers. We always thought we had the best customers in town, and been happy to serve everybody.
In recent years, Wright has retired, and Ryan Jackson has been serving as the store's pharmacy manager. He says the Wrights have been like family to him, and he's grown to love the store's regular customers. EAN News asked him what he will miss the most about Wright Drugs.
It's like the history of this building, like you can just feel the years and years and years of people coming in and out of the doors, and I don't know, just knowing that there's been a lot of great people, a lot of great pharmacists that have worked here.
Ann Wright, another member of the family, says Wright Drugs has played a big role in the history of Cleburne County.
This is such an important building to us. We have a lot of heart here. It's been from the beginning days of their grandfather, who by horse and buggy delivered babies over the county and, serviced, the people of the community from this building.
When we return, we'll tell you how to stay safe on the water all summer long.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by Waldrop Manufacturing, metal buildings made right here in Calhoun County.
The 4th of July is next week, a time when many people in East Alabama head to the nearest river or lake to enjoy all sorts of water activities. It's also a time when the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency has its full complement of troopers patrolling those waterways to make sure everyone is safe. Senior Trooper Jared Brown is assigned to both Lake Wedowee and Logan Martin Lake, two of the most popular recreational areas in this part of Alabama. EAN Local News asked him what is the #1 piece of advice he has for boating safety.
Make sure there is enough personal flotation devices on your vessel for everyone on board. Make sure they have the appropriate personal flotation device, and just be aware of what you're doing while out here, aware of where your boat is, and aware of the wake coming off of your boat, what it may be doing to other boats.
Brown says a little courtesy goes a long way on the water, and he hopes boaters will remember to follow the basic rules of common sense while cruising the lakes and rivers. He was asked if there is a speed limit for boaters in Alabama.
There's not a set speed limit, especially for Logan Martin. There's not a set speed limit, but you have to take courtesy. You have to take into effect how close you are to other vessels, other structures, and you can actually be pulled over for going too fast, but it's not a speed limit per se. It's just a situational where you're at with your boat.
I want to remind you that Calhoun and Cleburne counties will be under an excessive heat watch over the weekend. Several local agencies have stepped up to help people who don't have air conditioning. The city of Anniston's opening a public cooling station, The Bridge, behind Anniston's First United Methodist Church, from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. each day from Friday through Sunday. Shelter will also be available through Interfaith Ministries of Calhoun County at 1431 Gurney Avenue from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday, as well as at The Right Place, 105 West 15th Street, from 1:30 until 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday. For more information on other community resources, you may contact the local United Way by dialing 211.
Well, Mike, I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase, things have to get worse before they get better.
I have heard that. So the question, I guess, today is it going to have to get hotter before it gets cool again?
And I think we know somebody that may be able to answer that question.
I believe John Holder is standing by in the EAN Weather Center right now with that answer.
Well, Mike and Katie, indeed, it is going to be a lot hotter before any kind of cool weather comes back to East Alabama. We're going to tell you how hot it's going to be next.
Well, my name is Mike Craven, and we recently purchased an open carport, metal carport from a Waldrop manufacturer. I have an extra car. We have a very small home, very small driveway, and I needed somewhere just to park another vehicle, just out of the weather. And I had been told by 2 or 3 friends that knew we had recently remodeled a home that Waldrops were the people that you need to go talk to. I was in that area one day and I thought, hey, I'll just stop in, and I did without calling, and greeted warmly, well taken care of. It was just, really the whole process was just good from day one.
Dry and hot today across East Alabama, and no rainfall. That was the way it was across Calhoun and Cleburne counties on your Wednesday. We're going to be looking at a high today of 92. That was our high this afternoon. A little bit above average for this time of year, a morning low of 66. Still not close to a record high temperature, 104 the record high, 52 the record low, and the sunset again this evening at just a couple of minutes away from the hour of 8 o'clock. Weather on your street, we're looking for some cool places across East Alabama. One of those is Sunset Drive in Anniston over on the east side around the Country Club. Lots of shade trees on Sunset Drive. That is certainly going to be the case tonight, where you're going to need some cooling off. We're dropping down only to 69. We'll be in the 70s for much of the evening hours tonight. A lot of moon, a lot of stars, no clouds, no rain or anything like that. All in all, a pretty pleasant evening over in East Anniston on Sunset Drive. We're looking for more cool places tomorrow. We're going to take you to Germania Springs in Jacksonville. The heat cranking up. No rain in the forecast. Plenty of sunshine. The hottest day so far in 2023. The high tomorrow at 98 degrees. A good day to go out to Germania Springs. Beautiful park there on the north side of Jacksonville. If you can, take the kids out there. Take your shoes off. Get in the creek and go wading. It's going to be that kind of day tomorrow at Germania Springs in Jacksonville. And as we look at the start of the weekend, a heat advisory will be in effect from 11 a.m. tomorrow morning all the way until 9 o'clock on Friday night. We're looking at heat index values of 105 to 110. So again, cold water out on U.S. Highway 78 West, Coldwater Springs sounds cold, and it is cold. That is a spring that bubbles up out there, and that has been a long time, very popular place here in the eastern side of the state for folks to go on a hot summer day and cool off. No doubt the rest of the start of the weekend and into the weekend, there'll be a lot of folks waiting out in Coldwater Springs and Coldwater coming up on Friday and the weekend. 7-day forecast. There's a lot of hot temperatures coming up. 98 degrees on Thursday, 98 on Friday with just a 20% chance of a shower. Saturday may actually be our hottest day, 99 for the high, about a 1 in 3 chance of an afternoon shower or storm. Keep in mind, we could very easily see 100 degrees in some locations on any of these 3 days that are coming up. There'll be a gradual tampering down, I guess, of the temperatures, we would call it. Beginning on Sunday, about a 40% chance of a shower. The high only 95. 92 on Monday with a 50-50 chance of afternoon storms. Then on Tuesday, that's the 4th of July, Independence Day. Pretty typical weather forecast. Temperatures back to about average, 91 for the high, 50-50 chance that we're going to see a shower in the afternoon, 73 for the low. All in all, pretty classic 4th of July in Alabama. And again, about 91 for the high on Wednesday with a chance of an afternoon or evening shower and thunderstorm. We are looking at some dangerous heat coming up, so a couple of things that are very real for us here in the South when we're talking about weather like we're going to have over the next 3 to 4 days. Heat exhaustion. You have to act faster. You need to get into a cooler area, loosen your clothing, sip some cool water. If the symptoms don't improve pretty drastically, you need to seek medical help. Here are some of those symptoms of heat exhaustion: dizziness, thirst, heavy sweating, nausea, and weakness. That can lead to heat stroke, which is very, very serious. Heat exhaustion comes first, then heat stroke. Immediately, if there's confusion, if you are with someone who is confused, they're dizzy, they kind of going in and out of consciousness, that is when you need to call 911, and you need to take some drastic things here, because heat stroke can cause death or permanent disability if not treated quickly enough. And these are real things, particularly for folks who work outside, have to work in some heavy clothing and things like that. It is a big time, serious concern coming up for the next 3 days across East Alabama. Right now, baseball, Jacksonville State baseball. Chase Robinson with an exclusive interview with the new head baseball coach of the Gamecocks. Chase?
Thanks, John. As we reported to you on Monday, the Jacksonville State Gamecocks have made their hire for the next head baseball coach. Steve Beazer will take over the Gamecock program. Beazer has spent 11 years as a Division I head coach, and he talks about what stood out to him about this job with the Gamecocks.
The big thing was the synergy that I felt when I visited and met with President Killingsworth and Greg Seitz and all the people that I had a chance to talk to. There was some synergy there. There was a true desire and belief that we can build a really special program here and we can compete at the top of the Conference USA. And
Beazer becomes the third JSU baseball coach since 1970. Beazer has been the head coach at SEMO for 4 seasons, followed by the Missouri Tigers for the last 7 seasons. He was the fastest Missouri baseball coach to get 100 wins. Before coaching, he spent 13 seasons playing professional baseball. With all of his baseball experience, Beazer talked about the culture that he will bring to JAX State.
Build our teams around guys that are willing to fight for every inch that we get, and really gritty, tough-nosed, just really tough to compete against. I want to be able to win any type of game that we play, whether that's a 1-0 game or whether it's 15-14. We want to build that team of guys that just have perseverance, are very gritty, play the game the right way. I mean, that the hustle is a thing that we can control that, and that's something that we will play hard. Our guys will run the bases hard. They'll play in the field. They'll dive. They'll be really, really tough young men, and that's kind of going to be the culture of the club.
You can see the full interview with Coach Steve Beazer on today's edition of Southern Sports Now on the East Alabama Now Facebook page and the East Alabama Now YouTube channel. The Oklahoma City Spark are in town to take on the Vipers this week at Choccolocco Park, and the Spark took Game 1 last night. It was Kehlani Ricketts who helped lead Oklahoma to the 2013 National Championship in the circle for the Spark. She only gave up 3 infield hits all night. And also for the Spark, Women's College World Series MVP from a year ago, Jocelyn Allo hit a 2-run home run to make it 3-0. That would be the game's only runs for both teams. Sierra Highland was in the circle for the Vipers and only gave up 4 hits and struck out 8. That's it for sports. Let's go back over to Mike and Katie.
Thank you for watching East Alabama Now Local News.
We're here online every weekday evening starting around 6:30 on either Facebook or YouTube. Just log into our video feed and watch the news whenever it's convenient for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to leave us a comment while you're there.
And we'd like to thank the good folks here at Parker Memorial for allowing us to use their facilities to produce our local news content for you. We'll see you back here Thursday for your news on your schedule.